Hello, everybody. Let me get the music poppin'. What's happening with... What's happening with... My YouTube is... Yes, YouTube is live. Okay, it just took a second for it to register on my dashboard. I was like, wait a second. Okay. Sorry for the late start. So I was running late as I am wont to do, because I got distracted, because I'm me, and I went to boot up OBS, and I was like, I'll just throw up the starting soon screen and I'll finish all the prep work as we're going, right? But my restream wasn't signed in. I couldn't like see the chat or like check the channels or any of the things for restream. So I was like, oh, that's a problem. And I can't log in through the individual things. When that happens, I have to disconnect my Restream account and reconnect it all over again. It is very frustrating. So I had to do that instead of getting started on time, which is kind of sad. Let me finish. I did not watch church last week. Oh my gosh, people are memeing. Hey, Oku-sen, welcome. It's such an honor to see you. It's so great to have you here. I know you have such a really busy schedule, so I'm really glad to see you. Hello, Silva. I'm glad to see you too, Silva. Don't feel left out. Hey, Noel Main. It's great to see you. It's good to see all of you. Okay. All right. So it's really funny. I'm going to show you some stuff that I've been working on because I have been in a mood. I have been doing stuff. Let me where is the button I want? There. No, that's not the button I want. There's the button I want. Okay. Alrighty. How was everybody's week? How did everybody do? How was everybody's week? Alright. Let me just post on the Twitter. Okay. I have a couple things to share. Let me boot up all the things. Okay, got that booted up. Okay. So, Alright, now that my model's booted up, I've got everything booted up, let's get to the actual screen. Hello, everybody. Hi. It's good to see you. So, this week has been fun. I have been in a hardcore Lancer mood. I have been in this like Lancer hyperfixation, working on stuff for my Tuesday game, working on stuff for my Sunday game, cooking up lots of stuff, and all of that. I have been working on a lot of projects, and one thing is that like I had a kind of a moment last night, right? Where like, hold on, let me go turn on the AC. It's kind of hot in here. I'll be right back. Give me 1 second. So, one of the projects I've been working on has been like, one of the things is that I keep adding all these things that interest me into Lancer. Hello, Nabiru. I've been like really using Lancer as a framework to explore a lot of different like concepts, and like it's a very well built mech game, right? And I've been using it as a skeleton to add things to. Now that I've learned how to homebrew, how to make the LCP files and all of that stuff, and really getting involved in the homebrew community. And I had a moment last night because like I've been working on stuff. I worked on some Zoid stuff. It all started when I learned how to make LCP files because I found a Gundam Wing homebrew someone had done, but there was no LCP file, so I couldn't really use it in Foundry. So I went through, I made some changes, I rebalanced some things, I redid some things, and made my first LCP file as that, and I ended up eventually communicating with the author of the homebrew who gave me permission to do whatever I want, add whatever I want, change whatever I want, do whatever I want with it. And that got me started into, and I think having that as my first homebrew being me making an LCP file of another IP that I wanted to add into Lancer was kind of a formative experience for me and kind of shaped how I interact with Lancer homebrew. Actually, been running this week on stress, a lot of tease, sheer nihilism, but I got it. I'm creating my own card game, so I'm blasting through development on my free time. Nice, Noel, man. Nice. Give me 1 second. I'll be right back. Okay, so this is going to sound really ridiculous, right? But I had this moment just now where I was like, I cooked a few hours ago. Did I put the leftovers back in the fridge? And I knew I did, but I had to go check. I'm not diagnosed with OCD, but like sometimes I just got to go check. And since I was in the kitchen anyway, I decided to grab some water, and when I was grabbing my bottle of water so I can do the hydrate if anybody does the hydrate regime, and just so because having water for streams is helpful, I saw I had a bag of my sugar-free Jolly Ranchers in the fridge. So I was like, yo, let's get some candy. So if you hear me, I hope my microphone sound gate doesn't pick it up, but I'm sucking on. I hope this doesn't affect the sound quality, but I'm sucking on some Jolly Ranchers. Well, a Jolly Rancher. I have another one right here from when I finished the first one. Oh, I'm seeing a lot of stuff on the mic. I'm gonna have to be careful. That's like some ASMR stuff. You all get some chewing ASMR. Usually called the OCD tendency, not true OCD. Yeah. I'm not gonna like self-diagnose or claim to have something I don't. It's just sometimes you gotta go check. And it's one of those things where like I'm like 99% sure I put the food away, right? But one way or the other, it's literally one room over, and checking will take me 2 seconds. Like, it will take me like less than 20 seconds to go over there, check, and come back. So since to do that, just to keep my mind clear, I just went to check. Yeah, if anyone ever needed proof that I'm mentally ill, there it is. So doing this stuff with making Gundam in Lancer was this kind of formative experience for me, and that's kind of how I interact with homebrew. Is I'm making things for my campaign, or I'm making things to add things that I enjoy to Lancer. And it's been kind of one thing building onto another as I've been working on these projects. And then it came to a moment when I was working on a thing to turn NPCs into Transformers. And Silva really likes Transformers. So last night when we were hanging out doing anime night, I was like, hey Silva, I think you'd get a kick out of this. I made a homebrew to turn some of my NPCs in Lancer into Transformers. And Silva said something that really like stuck with me. Silva was like, well, if you want to play Transformers in a TTRPG, why don't you go play the Transformers TTRPG? And my response was, because I want to play Lancer, and I don't want to have like players being Transformers. I want it to be a thing for NPCs, like a faction they can be allied with or fighting against. And also there's a whole thing of I don't want to spend money on buying another rule book and learning a new system, finding a new group to play with, when I could just make a homebrew and then crowbar it into the game I'm already running. My poor players have to deal with all of my flights of fancy. And then after we did anime night, afterwards, when I was working on some projects and stuff, something occurred to me. What I said, my answer to why don't you just play the Transformers RPG, was the exact same answer that everybody like kind of pokes fun at D&D 5e players whenever they're asked, you're crowbarring all of these things into D&D 5e, making a D&D 5e mod, why don't you go play this other game that is based around that IP? And I kind of had an existential crisis. I was just like, wait, am I just treating Lancer like D&D? Like I'm just putting everything in Lancer? Like I was just like, have I come full circle? Because I remember when I was always fighting to try to put mechs into D&D 5e, and that was always a struggle, and I was fighting with the system to do that. And then I remember when I was trying to do mechs in Mutants and Masterminds, and that was always a struggle, and didn't super work. I tried running an entire streamed game of it, which was a mistake. And so that wasn't great. But now I'm doing that with Lancer, but I feel like I'm having a lot more like what's the word? Success. I feel like I'm having a lot more success with Lancer because I feel like, not that it's a better system, but I think it is focused around mechs, and most of the IPs I'm putting in are mechs. Albeit I did start making a kaiju homebrew to make something that could make things that turn into kaiju. And I'm drinking so much water, I'm probably gonna have to use the potty later. Potty. And that was the thing that was just like kind of weighing on me. I actually went and said something in the Lancer Discord, the pilot.net official, unofficial Lancer Discord, in their Lancer General channel. I'm like, listen, I'm having this existential crisis because I realized I'm crowbarring every IP I love into Lancer the same way D&D 5e players crowbar everything they love into D&D 5e, and that realization's caused an existential crisis. And someone said, someone actually responded, and they're like, keep doing it. You're doing what you love, so there's nothing wrong with it. And I'm like, at the end of the day, that's also true. That's true for the D&D 5e players as much as it's true for me. If you're having fun at the table, then by all means, keep having fun at the table. And so that was the thing that kind of helped me work through some stuff. And I got some feedback on I made some changes to my Transformers. I haven't changed the LCP yet. I'm still working on I made a test LCP, but I'm working on a change to the base thing. And I was just sharing it with someone to get some feedback on it, and they were like, you need to diversify. Well, they told me that some of the things I'd written didn't work the way I'd wanted them to. And they said that I need to diversify some of my optional features, and that gave me some ideas. They gave me some suggestions, and I'm working on a couple things. So I just wanted to share this before we get into the actual writing for tonight. I wanted to share this that I've been working on. I'm not sure if / how I'm going to put it into one of my Lancer games. But it's mostly just experimental for now. So I want to show that to all of you before we get into tonight's writing. It has nothing to do with tonight's writing, but it's just something I was working on earlier today, and I've been tinkering around with all week. Let's head over to the writing stream page. Boop. Why is... okay. So this is what I've been working on. Would help if I put the thing... No, that is not the button I want. I really don't like that OBS keeps trying to dock my chat window when I very much want it undocked, so I can do the thing and keep it up on top while I'm working on other things so I can see chat. So this is the Transformers template. So in Lancer, right, when you're making an NPC, yeah, that's kind of where I ended up, Noel Man. When you're making an NPC in Lancer, you give them a class, you choose optional features from the class, and then you can modify the class using a template. And the template can add other features. Any class can generally take any template. And it gives base features and optional features, and they do different things for like the power level, so you have to be careful with that. So this, originally I'd intended to be kind of a neutral nothing burger where it just adds mobility options. But like I realized, like when that person was like, hey, why don't you add this? Why don't you add that? Why don't you diversify? I realized I was playing it safe. I was trying to not make something broken, and in the process, I was playing it so safe that I was kind of making something boring. So, or something that only I would ever use. So this is what I made. This is the changes. So this is the base features. It gives you the transform, where as a quick action you could transform into vehicle mode, or as a quick action you can go from vehicle mode back to battle mode. Vehicle mode, it essentially becomes a vehicle. Only melee attack you can make is ram, can't manipulate objects, environments, or grapple. +1 difficulty to range attacks because you're not in battle mode anymore. Once is around as a free action you can boost. This is something that I'm testing. So before I said it can transport one squad or characters whose combined size is less than its own size, which means that a size 2 can carry a size 1, but because of the size differences, not a lot of things are going to be able to use that feature at all. And that it has the vehicle restriction where it must always move in a straight line, although it can move and boost in separate directions. It can't climb, swim, and can only clear prone when adjacent to an allied character or by transforming back into battle mode. And scan doesn't reveal anything about the transformer in vehicle mode, which is like, it's a robot in disguise. I gave it the AI tag. This is something new I added, which is battle hardened, which is essentially just veterancy. Gets +1 accuracy on all checks and saves for 1 mech skill. Then instead of having vehicle type, I just called it modification. So then there's the 4 different vehicle mode types: aerospace, treads or hover, wheeled, or aquatic. Which those were the base ones, and then I made some weapons because I was like, they're like warriors, so let's give them weapons to round out their combat abilities. But I didn't want to give them anything super strong. So I tried to think about weapons that don't exist as Lancer NPCs, and there's not a lot of energy weapons. Like, there is only one energy melee weapon. Hey, LeMay. I'm just showing off a Lancer homebrew that I was working on before we get to the actual writing for tonight. How was your week, LeMay? So I made an Energon axe. I essentially took a chain axe, took off the effect of shredding a target, made it AP and energy damage, and decreased the damage a little bit. I used the basis from the homebrew for players, which says that normally whenever you are valuing the damage output of something that's AP, it's 2 more, counted as 2 more than what the number is. So if it's 8, you count it as if it was 10 regular damage whenever you're trying to hit your averages. So I took a chain axe, subtracted 2 from each thing, so it went from down to 5, 7, 9. Made it AP. And it doesn't shred anymore. It was fine. That's great. I made an integrated cannon. This one someone actually suggested as an arm cannon, and I was like, I could do that. So it's an auxiliary cannon. It does 4, 5, 6 damage. Has +2, 3, and 4 attack. Only range 8, and it's AP. But the thing that makes it special is that it can be fired normally when in vehicle mode. So an NPC can be running around in vehicle mode and fire this without difficulty. Which that's cool. But I was like, let's diversify a little bit more. Now, one thing that someone suggested was having specialty Autobot or Decepticon things. And I remembered something someone told me about making homebrew, where they said, if you're making a homebrew from an IP, from a different game or a different show or a different thing, lean into it. Do the things that are from that thing. Use the names that are from that thing. Use it, like, do the stuff so that people of that will want to use it. And so, that's what I did. I was trying to think of, like, that's why the Energon X was called that. And then I was like, well, they're built for battle, right? So let's say sometimes they have reinforced armor, but I based this on the bulky construction from the new industrial template from Dustgrave, which is it gains +1 armor, but boosting becomes a full action instead of a quick action. They can still boost as a free action with vehicle mode's free boost, so they don't lose that. But they just gain an extra armor. And I like that better because I was testing some things for, like, the Kaiju or the Zoids where they just gain an extra armor. And I feel like that's too strong. And that there has to be some kind of a drawback to flat gaining +1 armor. The only NPC features that add +1 armor with no drawback are class specific features for biological units, for the human and for the squad NPCs. And I'm like, if something's a template anyone can take that has the option to gain extra armor, and I think I'm gonna do that for my other LCPs. I think I'm gonna go back and change all of those that give extra armor to say that it has that restriction, that boost is a quick action, wound is no longer a quick action, becomes a full action. And then I give regeneration because Transformers regenerate over time, or they can regenerate over time. With enough energon. Which I might make that a base feature of just regeneration. But that might be a little bit strong. But it does lean into the organic nature of their existence. But yeah, then obviously picture of Optimus Prime. Need a picture of Optimus Prime for this. So this needs some more work. I'm gonna work on it a little bit more. I'm gonna make a note right now. That was not the button I wanted. Okay. 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 So I think that'll balance out some things. That was not the button I wanted. So I just wanted to show that off. Please tell me this was like moving. Okay. I was really worried I was going to flip back to the screen and like this whole time when I was describing all the features, you all didn't see anything. And I was like, please no. Having flashbacks to when I did a whole stream of Roll20 making mutants and masterminds characters. And it wasn't till the end of the stream that I saw the Google Chrome window had been frozen in OBS. And the entire stream had been frozen on one page as I had gone through an entire like 2 or 3 hour stream of building the character, describing why I was building the character, and all the things I was typing into the character sheet just didn't show up on stream. It was so frustrating because I was hoping to make like clips out of that stream to be like, here's clips of character creation and all that and the other, and like I couldn't use any of it because it was all like there was no visual component, and I would have had to redo the entire thing, and I was like, I can't do it. It also didn't hurt that like I had some stuff wrong. There were some rules I misunderstood. Anyway. I also found some cool guidelines someone shared on Discord, on the Lancer Discord, for helping with balancing combats, and I was like, that could be really nice. That could be really helpful for balancing. it's funny because like their balancing thing includes no grunts. They don't include any grunts. This thing that somebody did for their balancing thing doesn't include any grunts because they're like, grunts are really weird and I have my own custom templates for trying to make things weaker or stuff like that. Because grunts in Lancer have 1 HP and they die if they take any heat from something other than their own systems, but they do full damage. So in the rules, you can have 4 grunts for every 1 player, but those 4 grunts are doing full damage for each grunt. So it's a mess. But I'm like, I think I can compensate for that for the grunts. Okay. Anyway, let's go. We're actually getting into it this time. All right, we are going into chapter 10, The New World. I don't have a lot planned for this chapter. I planned a single scene. I have no idea how I'm going to do it. But it's where he starts in the new world, and the scene I have planned is that Jonathan, the main character, is at Lisa's house visiting Timmy again, reading to him as he falls asleep. And they start talking, have some interaction, and his phone goes off again. Very reminiscent of what happened for the second attack. And he picks it up and he's like, oh, I need to go back to the facility because I have to go on a mission. And she asks him, how many people is he going to kill today? And he says, hopefully none. And then he drives away. And I wanted it to start explaining this new world. This interaction with Timmy serving as the basis to tell the audience about the changes that have been happening in Jonathan's life and in the world and his new life that he's fallen into, right? The next chapter, we move into the fun and games where he has a mission where he's saving some hostages from some pirates. And they airdrop into to their target. And he is just having a blast fighting with the armor. But he has all of the specs turned down because he's fighting people, not monsters. And the pirates put up a fight and try to use their weapons, but Jonathan and his team are able to disarm the pirates and use their electrified weapons and armor to stun the pirates and capture the rescue the people. The people are grateful, and Jonathan feels like he's on top of the world. That's going to happen. Next chapter is the actual mission itself. And then chapter 12, we're going to get into him coming back to the facility from his mission. And the juxtaposition as he's in chapter 12 is going to be the juxtaposition where he sees how many things have changed around the facility as they've leaned into their PMC stuff, right? And he starts to see these things, and he remarks on how different his life is now from when he was a janitor. And so, but in this part, in chapter 10, it's setting up the new world. And that I don't know how I'm going to make that entire interaction of visiting Timmy, the conversation with Lisa, and the leaving for the mission into a full chapter. Normally I like to have 2 to 3 scenes in a chapter. So we'll see what happens. Okay. Why did I suddenly get hungry? All right, I'm gonna suck on this sucker. Let me know if the sound becomes unbearable as I suck on this sucker. This Jolly Rancher. I think I'll have dinner. I'll have a redo of the dinner time, then the story time. Hey Violet, how are you doing? Welcome back, Noel Main. I'm getting into the writing. I was just describing what I'm going to be doing for this chapter and the next few chapters. This is the new world. This is the start of Act 2, and it is where we inform the reader about this new world that the main character finds himself in. Also, I'm sucking on a Jolly Rancher, so I'm sorry if that makes your listening experience frustrating. But how was your? I was talking earlier about a Lancer homebrew that I've been working on, and been tinkering with that stuff, and that's been fun. So, my week has been doing a lot of Lancer-based stuff. I'm kind of having an existential crisis for a little bit as I realize that I'm doing with Lancer what a lot of people do with D&D 5e, in that I am crowbarring a lot of different IPs into Lancer. No, you're definitely not too late. We are just getting started, Violet. We are glad to have you. And if I didn't say it before, welcome back, Noel Main. I see you there too. Oh, I gotta change that Stream Elements automated thing to have say x.com instead of twitter.com. I'm glad. Well, I mean, I had fun, and that's what's important. We're coming up on. We're just around the corner. Is my meeting for my my hearing for my SSI. So that's a little bit nerve-wracking, and that's just around the corner. Thank you, Violet. I'm really hoping everything goes right. It's a thing where if things don't go right, I have to scramble to find stuff to get stuff working. Because I don't want to dwell on it too much, but if things go poorly, I could lose my only source of income. And I just signed a lease where I am responsible for this apartment for the next 12 months. So I can't just leave. If I break this lease, I may never be able to get an apartment again. And that's terrifying. That's terrifying. Thanks, Violet. I really appreciate it. Hey, it's not disrupting the stream at all. The whole point of tonight's stream is to work on projects, to share what you're working on, and for all of us to kind of enjoy the creative vibes together. So feel free, Noel Main, to share about the TCG that you're working on. I'd love to hear about it. Context first, when I was younger, I say younger because my notion of time is completely broken. I created a bunch of cards for a game. Okay, cool. I remember when I was a kid, I tried to make a Zoids card game and a Zoids strategy game. But I didn't have pieces. I didn't understand about pieces. So we used, for the tactical game, we used graph paper and pencils. And whenever we moved our Zoid, we would erase where they were and write on there where the Zoid was on the next move. It was so silly. And then I tried to make a card game where I used index cards for the cards and I wrote different powers and abilities. It was so silly. But not to detract from it, I was just saying I know what it's like when you make cards as a kid. Yep. Just as a kid, I still make cards. Just now, it's online card maker. Exactly, Nabiru. Unfortunately, I lost most of my notes and cards when my family moved. Fortunately, I still have a bunch of the photos of the cards and some other stuff, so I began working on the game. That's great, Noel, man. That was not the button I wanted. Ah. Yeah, it definitely was a great idea to take pictures of them. Yeah, I mean, you want your game to be your own, you know? Want to have some flavor to it that only you can add, you know? uh I'm stumped. The main villain is making a move. I'm debating on whether he should confront the nobles that the main character is hiding with, or have him confront the king and pressure him to capture the main character. Ooh. Well, if you're deciding between him confronting the nobles or confronting the king, my only suggestion would be to ask the question, who, like, a lot of times people take the path of least resistance, right? So between all of the people that he could be like confronting or manipulating, which character would be the one that would be most likely influenced by the main villain's actions, like threats or offers or negotiations? Who's most likely to be manipulated by that? And B, once manipulated, who would be the person most likely to be able to actually capture the main character? And I think you could have believable answers for either way, but it's going to be specific to your story, what those answers are. And those are my best suggestions. That's all I got, LeMay. That's a good question, Violet. That's a really good question. Is the villain, what type of villain is it? Is the villain trying to, a manipulative person, or is the villain the kind of person who wants to be direct? Like, does your villain enjoy playing games? Do they enjoy the hunt? That's also true, Violet. How many months do I want to say have passed? So, main character, your villain is lazy. Ooh, that could be spicy. Okay. So, everything really started in chapter 2. Then main character wakes up the next day. All right, that I'm glad we were able to help you, LeMay. So he was in the hospital for a week. He was in there for over a week. So he's in there for about 2 weeks. As dinner. The whole fight happens. So it's been about 3 weeks. That makes 4 weeks, so 1 month. It goes kind of like this. You start the game with 3 creatures in play. You also start with a hand of 7 cards. Your creature start as rank 0, and you evolve and upgrade them as the turns go around. Ooh, nice, Noel, man. Pressuring the noble family may be a direct approach, but it exposes the villain's intentions, and if they say no, it could be forced to directly opposes them. That's if the family says no, the villain would be directly forced to directly oppose family. You win by defeating a certain number of opponent's creatures, 5 on the short game, 7 on the medium game, 10 on the full game. Ooh. Violet, I think LeMay said that they were going to have the villain, since the villain was lazy, LeMay said the villain's going to go to the king. I don't know if you missed that one. So it's been about a month. in story. Month and a half. Okay, so a month and a half. So then if we say it's been 3 months, that would mean he's spent a month and a half of training. So we don't have too much of a time skip. Let's do 6 months. So he's had time for training and operations. No, let's do... Yeah, it's definitely cool, Violet. No problem. I just wanted to share it. The only thing is he does not know the main character is hiding with them. He is threatened by them because he knows they oppose to him. If he confronts them, he might find the main character. Ooh. If he goes to the king will side with him, but it will put him in opposition with the nobles who hate the villain. Ooh, that's spicy. Both routes will escalate the story, but one route will wrap up the story faster. Ooh, that's true. I think him going to the king is a great choice. It sounds like he can add a lot of great dynamics that can be explored. Yes, it definitely does. No problem, LeMay. We all are glad to help you out. Your monsters must be level 0. There are different worlds in the game, like you can get a creature of red world in the same deck as blue world. Ooh, doing worlds. Nice. Also, anyone watching on YouTube, if you haven't already, could you please like the stream? It helps the algorithm with pushing it out to more people while the stream is live. We get likes as the stream is going, and it helps the algorithm with sharing it after the stream ends. So, if you haven't liked the stream already, then please do. I gotta remember to ask that like multiple times over the course of a stream. It's just part of the whole game, you know? If you have a deck with only blue, you get world exclusive skill to help your deck. Ooh, nice. Yeah, I was gonna wonder about that. Is there an overarching theme to the worlds? Like, are they all medieval, or are they based on different elements? Are they different time periods? That would be really interesting. Is it? Okay. There are currently 5 worlds in the game to keep it short. Sanctuary, Abyss, Verdant, Flame, and Mechanical. Flame world is based on medieval times, dragons, giants, etc. Mechanical is machines, aliens, and artificial life. Sanctuary is knights and angels. Ooh. You probably asked the question uh as Noel Main was typing that, Violet. That's funny. So each one has a theme, but this doesn't restrict your strategy options. Some cards have more than one element, like a creature from the verdant world can have water or even fire elements. Ooh, that's nice. Mm. think we're up to like 800 words so far. That's my best guess, is up to 800 words. Yep, 841. I'm getting better at guessing that. That's funny. The idea is kind of coming together. I've been playtesting a lot. One thing I found out is that the players have a blast trying different combos. How are you playtesting? Are you doing stuff like on Tabletop Simulator? I had a friend who was working on designing a card game that he would test on Tabletop Simulator. He would like upload the cards in there and make different things. And so he would use it for online testing with his friends. And it was really interesting. Like, so that reminds me, my friend was making this card game, and he was so into making this card game, right? He was doing playtesting, he was running tournaments, he was making sets for the cards. Well, actually, he was doing playtesting. I think he printed sets of the cards. I think he was talking about like doing tournaments and stuff and doing test plays online. And the thing was, right? All of the entire card game was based on DC and Marvel characters, superheroes, villains, all of the characters from DC and Marvel. And I'm like, you want to like make your own versions of these characters? You want to twist it a little bit to like make it your own? Because I'm like, you're never going to be able to like release that, or like you're making these sets, you're never going to be able to release these cards as like packs. You're using copyrighted images. And he was just doing it for fun, and he was just happy with it. So like he was just sinking he was spending a lot of time. Sinking implies that it was wasted, but it was not wasted because he had fun, and that's what's important. And other people were having fun playing his game. Yeah, he was doing a lot of stuff with the game. I don't think he ever got a cease and desist. But I don't know if he's still doing it. I haven't talked to him in a while. But when Noelme was talking about making characters and making card games and play testing, that got me thinking. The guy who's made Spinderette has to change his design because he got a letter from Marvel. Oh, goodness. My friends and locals are helping me out. I have the cards on my PC. Might try and add them Tabletop Simulator. Yeah, Tabletop Simulator is great for online testing. Welcome back, Violet. Welcome back. One of the cards is a spell called Revive Storm that can come back from the graveyard as long as your Abyss spellcaster has enough runes to cast it again. Ooh, are runes another resource? That reminds me, does each world have its own resource? Like, I know Buddy Fight has like charge and has like gauge. And Vanguard has Counterblast and Soul Blast. But like, does your game have special resources for each world? So this is like, I'm kind of adding stuff here that's going in a direction I didn't exactly intend for this chapter, but you know what? I'm not entirely wrong. I'm not entirely disappointed with it. So originally, I wanted this chapter to be introducing the new world, right? And then introducing this kind of conflict where, like, in this new world, Lisa and Jonathan have this kind of like will they won't they thing where like he's over there for Timmy, but like they're co-workers and he's still taken aback by her. He's still drawn to her and attracted to her, but he doesn't know what to do with that. And he's trying to deal with this stuff, and like she's confronting him with like, hey, you went through this on your previous mission, and I don't want you bringing that in to talk to my kid about. And I want there to be some kind of thing. So later on, right, in what chapter do I have it planned for? What chapter do I have that planned? Where did I have that planned? Hold on. Oh, let me put this here. Each world has its unique strengths, but they mostly use the same resources, that being energy used to play most cards and runes used for specific abilities. They check for elements, not worlds. Oh, nice. So you can use multiple worlds in a deck. Okay. Okay. Chapter 17. Okay. Yeah, that's also really cool, Violet. So in chapter 17, I have planned to be like towards the end of chapter 17, to be kind of the resolution of this will they won't they relationship between Jonathan and Lisa, where Lisa finally says, hey, I have feelings for you. I've been kind of dancing around that fact. We've been dancing around that fact. We've been dancing around this for so long, and I want to pursue this relationship. That's what Lisa says to him in chapter 17, and she asks him like what he's feeling, and like she asks him like what's he feeling. He says he's attracted to her. They have this like defining the relationship thing, and then he's like he's so busy with work he doesn't know what to do with it, right? And she says, what's going on? And then the end of chapter 17 is him sitting down on on a video call with Lisa, as like it kind of zooms out as he's going over everything that's been going on, as he's catching her up on what's been happening with Sand World Corp and with the stuff being stolen and the fights and everything that's been happening. No, actually, this is before the stuff being stolen, but and he just kind of talks to her and she just listens, and she acts as a person to listen, giving her support in a way that she can, right? So I want that to be the resolution of this thing that I'm starting really kicking off here. The thing is, you could spam Revive Storm if you get out 4 runes of Dark Element. Guess who's a Abyss spellcaster? Yunovi. What card Yunovi brings to your hand? Pact of the Dark Magic plus 3 runes. Oh, so you can just loop it? You play 1 card, add a thing, get 3 runes. If you already have a rune, then you play Revive Storm, which then gives you back the thing, which then gives you back the thing, and then you just keep going and you just build an infinite board, I guess? At least 3 times? Okay. You're already reworking it? Okay. Because Revive Storm is basically area damage, can destroy at least 4 high-level monsters with 1 loop. A bit too... Yeah, that's a bit too good. If you can... I mean, I think any loop can be dangerous. Okay. Yeah, gotta be careful. I'm glad you're having fun. That's what's important. You're doing something you love. It's funny when my aunt called me last week. She's like, "You're gonna be fine because you're doing what you love," and I'm like, "Yeah." Ah. Do, do, do. Funny thing, the playtester that discovered this combo wasn't even in the locals group. It was my sister's boyfriend. Oh. Hey, Magic players will find loops. If it's a TCG, people will find a way to break it. Yes. Vanguard, which was all about the battle phase, someone found a way to find basically one turn. So no, yeah. Nabiru, do you remember the grade 2 rush decks? Aqua Force and all those things that were doing the grade 2 rush deck during the G era of Vanguard? When like you couldn't stride unless your opponent was grade 3, and all of and so many powerful effects were locked behind G-Break and went online after you strode the first time. So people were just like not going to grade 3, so that way people couldn't stride, and that shut down all of the engines and mechanics of their decks. And it got so bad that they had to introduce a Prey Elemental that let you flip up one of your stride units so you could have access to at least G-Break 1 effects. So it wouldn't completely destroy you. It was absolutely ridiculous. I think it was a Prey Elemental that you could stride into if your opponent was grade 2 or something. There was some kind of special thing they had to do for it because it was just breaking the game. It was breaking the game's mechanics. Yeah, let your G break early. People would prefer if you hit them with the over trigger that gives 100 million attack rather than seeing. uh. Oh my gosh, why is my... I ate not too long ago, but I am like feeling all kinds of ways right now. Holy cow. We should be at like maybe 1600. 1537. Yep, I'm getting better at that. Each page is about 800 words. So I'll probably get to the bottom of this page and like the start of the next page, and I'll probably end the chapter there. So that's fine. Yeah. Okay. Okay. I'm kind of running out of things to talk about in this chapter. I want the final call to happen, but like, this is not enough for a full chapter. I might break my rules and make this an even shorter chapter, like my shortest chapter yet. Yeah, this is a really short chapter. I want to see if I can at least get it to 2,000 words. Let me put something in my notes. I want to put in my notes that it's been 3 months. That way I keep track of the time. Okay. All right. Over trigger is especially not fun when you soul charge them. Oh, that sounds painful. Ah. Mhm. So I want the suits to be strong but not invincible. So here it talks about how like the even against conventional weapons, like their armor plating can withstand most things, but it's still gonna like bend because it's still flexible armor. All right. That actually came together. I didn't know if I was going to fill that page. Hmm. Uh, why is my internet being so weird? Okay. Relation. Okay, 2 L's. Yes, the scuff affects all. There is no escaping the scuff. Okay. Hello, Jesus. Welcome in. Welcome in. Watching a series of videos analyzing the meta changes of the Naruto CCG as it evolved. Get some cool ideas for your own game. Cool, Jesus. It's funny. Noel Main was talking earlier because Noel Main's making a trading card game too. I don't know if you're making a trading card game or what you're making, Jesus, but Noel Main was talking about making a trading card game earlier. I don't know if Noel Main's still here. Cool, cool, cool. Card games balanced around each player getting a starter monster and drafting several common monsters. The halfway point, they can draft an additional monster. That sounds similar to Noel Main's game. Noel Main's game, they start with monsters, but they start at rank 0, but then you can rank them up as you play, and you have different abilities. Ooh, that's cool. It's kind of Noel's game is like there are different worlds that you build your deck from. Uh and each world has different traits and strengths and weaknesses, but the worlds can work together. Something about like if you're you can use different worlds in your deck, but if your deck is all one world, there's special things that you can do. But you can only do them if your entire world is only one world, and that it's got like a bunch of like abilities and stuff. It's really interesting. I was wondering something. I'm working on my own 27 chapter outline, but I'm wondering how long I should make my points under each chapter. Like, should I try to aim for a certain word count or talk about the action of each core character, or maybe a few sentences be appropriate? So when I did my outline, Violet, I wrote like, okay, so when you do the initial outline, you're supposed to just have a general like 1 to 2 sentences describing what happens in the chapter in order to like give you a lot of space to go. I outlined, some of them are like multi-sentence paragraphs where I'm outlining entire scenes or cinematic moments that I'm envisioning happening in this chapter, right? And some of them are just like 2-sentence things, like this happened, this person does this thing, and then this happens. So then I have to, and I find that those short ones, I have to build the rest of the chapter because I'm shooting for 3,000 words in each chapter. I have to, and I don't want to just fluff or embellish the chapter. I have to let the story grow, give it room to grow and cultivate it around what I have. So I find that sometimes the most interesting chapters for me are the chapters where I have the least amount planned. So I guess that's just one suggestion, is like, be ready that if you don't plan a whole bunch for a chapter, you're going to have to do a lot of work in like cultivating the story and developing some of the incidental characters, the side plots. And I find that like I normally describe the main plot whenever I'm describing the things in the chapter. So then any side plots and things or foreshadowing, I have to introduce manually as I'm writing. Like, well, everything's manual because I'm writing it all, but like I have to introduce it as I'm writing the chapter, if that makes sense. Does that make any sense at all, Violet? No problem, Violet. See, I wrote this part for how I envisioned the ending of the chapter, but now that I've actually gotten here and the character has grown and developed so much over the course of the chapter, I'm not sure if I can envision the character saying the line. So the original plan was to have a thing where he reads Timmy a story, Timmy goes to bed, have conversation with Lisa, and then Lisa has some like disdain, there's some friction and stuff, and then he gets a call that he's got a mission, and Lisa asks him how many people he's going to kill today on his next mission, and he says hopefully nobody, and leaves. But like now that we've actually gotten there, now that I'm actually here writing, that entire line feels out of character for Lisa, albeit this joke feels out of character for Jonathan, where he gets a call from work and he says, "Hello, Hot Dogs Incorporated, how much of my meat do you want today?" Which I want him to be a little bit of a jokester, but I haven't had him tell a joke at all. So it just feels kind of weird to have this be the first time he's telling a joke. And I kind of want that to be like he's developing coping mechanisms. So yeah. It's more like Pokemon, but I don't know how much about the Digimon. Digimon got like I think we're on like the second or third Digimon TCG that's been released over the years. But this one, I believe, is the most successful Digimon TCG that they've released. It's like really successful and really popular. I don't know anything about the latest Digimon TCG. Most little Digimon have effects upon Digivolving, but every time you Digivolve, you draw a card, which makes every deck consistent and fun. Ooh, that's cool. I'm surrounded by so many talented people. It's kind of fun to be surrounded by creative people who are doing like who are like making things. I think you're talented, Jesus, just from some of the stuff that that you talk about. I started with one sentence. I started with like a half a scene planned out. Didn't even do that scene the way that I planned it out. And made 2,700 words. 2,779. Yeah, it is really cool, Violet. That's one of the things I like about these streams is giving people a chance to talk about what they're working on, what projects they're doing, and all that jazz. It's just really interesting to me. Let me change this in my notes. Okay. Lots of watching game theory videos on YouTube, the mathematical subject, not the channel. I think this is the earliest I've been done with a chapter. I kept my nose to the grindstone and cranked out almost 2,779 words. So it's like almost 2,800 words. Not bad. Not bad at all. That's not the button I wanted. That's not. Sorry about that. Did not mean to lose you all there. I pressed all of the wrong buttons. Yeah, 2,800 words. We're just coming up on 3 hours. What also helped... no, I'm not... It also... So normally I do like discussion stuff and I talk about stuff for like the first hour or so. For today, I only did like a half hour and then went into writing. So like, I guess we're like 30 minutes ahead, I guess. But it still feels like it went by really fast. So there was one thing I wanted to share with all of you. So like, I watch Critical Role. It's a core part of like my like routine of watching Critical Role every Thursday, right? And I've noticed that like my mental health kind of dips if I don't have my weekly Critical Role, right? And I was watching Critical Role last night, and there was a development that really irked me. And like for the first time in a long time, made me like kind of consider stopping watching. And I don't say this to be like derogatory or like attacking or like anything negative to any of the performers involved. So there was a situation where one of the characters, Ladna, is a warlock and her patron is this necromancer who's been obsessed with living forever, right? Who's like died multiple times and is clinging to life through Ladna. Ladna is an undead. Something like that, Jesus. And Ladna's patron is Delilah, this person who's been the villain since like campaign 1, right? And Delilah has been a villain for like years in this, and there's so many things in campaign 3 that are references to past campaigns, right? And Delilah wants power, and she wants Laudna to absorb things to give her power. And Delilah wants essentially to take over Laudna's body. And there was a point, like, so Laudna has like died multiple times, and they went on a whole quest to revive her after her last death. And they went through all this stuff to revive her and like try to separate her from Delilah, but then she invited Delilah back in later. There is a world in which she existed without Delilah. She changed warlock patrons and became a patron and became a warlock of the Sun Tree. That is, there is a world where that happened because that's where it looked like it was going. But then she invited Delilah back in order to get more power from Delilah. And there's this stuff happening where they just defeated this enemy because of a sacrifice that one of their teammates made, and they have the weapons from this enemy. And this enemy that they defeated, Odahan, has like, she's the one who killed Laudna the most recent time. She's like injured and almost killed all of them. And Odahan killed one of the characters, Oram, killed his husband and father. Like all this stuff happened. So after Odahan was defeated, Oram claimed Odahan's sword because that was the sword that it did in his family, that had torn his family apart. And he keeps it, he can make vines grow with his like druid craft. So he keeps it wrapped up in a sheath of vines around his back. He doesn't use it as a weapon. He's saving it to use it to kill he's saving it to take down the bad guy, Ludinus, to make sure Ludinus stays dead, right? And Laudna was the last person going to bed because they'd all been up crafting and making stuff for their adventure and whatnot. And Laudna was staring at the sword that was strapped to Oram's back. And she's like, I think Delilah, like, she kind of like hints that like Delilah wanted the sword. And she starts asking Delilah, is the sword cursed? Will the sword corrupt him? And she starts asking these questions of Delilah. And like, Delilah wants the sword, so like the DM plays along with it. And like, I don't remember who started it, but like she was kind of going along this path of wanting to take the sword because Delilah wants the sword's power. Delilah is telling Laudna that the sword is going to corrupt Oram, that the sword might have a consciousness, it might have corrupted Odahan and all this stuff. So instead of waking Oram up and saying, hey, I think your sword might be, I think this sword might have a corrupting influence, and talking like a reasonable person, she tries to steal the sword and ends up injuring Oram in the process because the spell she used was an AoE. And Oram, waking up injured in complete darkness because she cast darkness, starts freaking out and fighting to defend himself because he thinks he's under attack. Yes, exactly, Nabiru. And then when he finds out that it's Laudna, once he finds out it's Laudna, he just tries to get the sword away from her because he doesn't know what's going on. And like, when she says what's going on, he's like, listen, I'm not trying to say I have to be right. I just need to be convinced right now. You didn't talk to me at all. You tried to take the sword. And then Laudna starts trying to kind of weaponize her trauma and being like, I've suffered more than everybody else, so no one should be able to talk to me about loss and sacrifice. And all this stuff going on. And there was one point where like The DM asked her, what do you do? Matt Mercer asked her, what do you do in this situation? You're being asked these questions, you're being confronted by your friends, and she says, I don't know, you're half in control of this too, what do I do? And he's like, roll a wisdom save. And she succeeded the wisdom save. And he's like, you feel Delilah wants this sword, you feel her desire for this sword running through you, but you are in control of your actions. You make the next decision. And then she proceeded to like lie to people and say that she wanted to absorb the sword using the device they got for absorbing magical items. And not that she wants to give the power to Delilah. And she ends up running out the room and skittering out the window instead of like communicating with her team. And she's like being like this manipulative person. Well, I don't know if manipulative is the right word, but like she's doing all this stuff, right? And she finally admits to Imogen, her girlfriend, that with how high the stakes are, with the end of the world, with all this stuff happening, she feels like she has nothing to contribute. She has nothing to give except herself. And if, like, what does she have to give but herself? And that she thinks by giving Delilah more power, Delilah might be able to help them save the world. And she thinks if she sacrifices herself to Delilah, it'll be a worthwhile sacrifice if it saves the people she loves. And then like that's all role play. It's a game. It's a game. It's role play. It's inter-party conflict, which I'm not a big fan of, but like I understand for a sufficiently complex narrative, it's going to happen. What bugged me was after the session when they were just talking, right? And one of the players called her on it, was like, hey, your character lied. It was like, your character said she was going to absorb it with the harness, but she didn't absorb it with the harness. She just gave it to Delilah. And the player was like, Laudna, I still contend Laudna has not lied at all. It's all been Delilah. And I'm like, you made the save. You were in control of your actions. Like, oh, I can do terrible things because I have a dark. I can have my character do like toxic and manipulative things because my character is in the throes of a dark warlock patron. Are you saying I have a wild take, or her thing saying her character did nothing wrong because it's all been? Yeah, she succeeded the save, so she was in control, and like, even if she wasn't in control, there was a point where the DM asked her, what do you do? And she's like, you tell me. Like, she wanted the DM to like narrate to her what her patron wants her to do. And like, she's like, you know, I contend Laudna hasn't lied. It's all been Delilah. And I'm like, first off, claiming any character has never lied is... claiming any character in any TTRPG has never lied is a fool's errand, because everybody lies, whether big or small. Yeah. And I say this because I'm not trying to, like, speak derogatorily about the player. I'm not naming the player, even though if you go and look at Critical Role, you can figure out who the player is. But, like, it just bugged me. That's fair, Jesus. I feel like at some point in that character's life, they have lied at least once. Whether it be a big lie or a small lie or a lie of omission. That's one thing I believe, that like there's so many, it's so easy to tell a half truth. Oh. And I don't say that to be like, you don't know your character. I'm just saying, like, that's just what I feel about a lot of these characters because of the situations we put them in. They are consistently put in difficult situations where they have to be creative with the truth sometimes. But like that might be like my toxic, like, nuclear hot take. But I think like trying to claim that a D&D character has never, or any TTRPG character has never lied, or like trying to blame anything bad. Like, I've played multiple warlocks, and it's between you and the DM how much your warlock patron has influence over you. And it's like, part of being a warlock is that push and pull, that give and take. It's a Cheeto hot take at best. And it's like, part of being a warlock is that push and pull. You're trying to get power from this person, and they're trying to make you do their bidding. But there's this push and pull, which is what makes your character. Mm-hmm. The crunchy ones. But like, but yeah, that bugged me a little bit. All you get is the desire for Cheetos. I had some like vegan imitation Cheetos. They weren't like brand name Cheetos. I don't think they make a vegan brand, but it was this like corn puff thing with vegan cheese on it, vegan cheese powder on it, and it was really nice. And it was just like, so thinking about it, right? Because of the kind of characters I play and the kind of situations I like to have in my games, I personally would have liked to see a character path, and where Laudna got, like, kind of became redeemed and embraced that connection to the Sun Tree and Whitestone and a new identity for herself, and building up this positivity and to gain power and in a positive way, right? And that's just kind of my preference for those kind of stories. And I recognize that for some people, it's more interesting to have a dark character who makes dark deals, makes deadly sacrifices, and has to trade bits and pieces of themselves in order to gain power, and has a dark, evil patron that's always trying to pull them towards the villainous. And I acknowledge, yeah, that's a trope that a lot of people like. So I acknowledge that a lot of that's just on me. Yeah. And that's another thing, Violet, like, she's like, I'm wondering if this is arcing towards some kind of a thing. Where like her character is going to become the BBEG later on down the line or something. Oh goodness, that sounds silly, Nabiru. I did horrible war crimes, but I'd do it again. But like, rant over. That was just a thing I wanted to share that happened last night that bugged me. What are intrusions? Is that where the DM gets to say something happens, or where you get to intrude and say something? What are intrusions, Jesus? Is that something from like a Fate game? It sounds like something from Fate. There are two types of intrusions, GM and player. Okay. So is it a thing where it lets you like take control of the narrative and say a thing happens? GM can make your character do something in exchange for giving you 1 XP and you giving 1 XP to another player. XP is a resource in Cypher, so this is usually a really cool trade-off. Player intrusions let you cash out XP to take over for a while. Ooh. Ooh. Ooh, spicy. Spicy, 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 spicy. All right. Yeah, definitely Violet. That's funny, Jesus. But you're right, Violet. It would be really I feel like it would be really unsatisfying if she became the BBEG and if it was Delilah. And I didn't even watch all the past seasons, but I've seen people talk about how like it's Delilah again. Oh, that's funny, Jesus. And if they spend an XP to do an intrusion, you can give them an intrusion and they can respond by spending the XP you just gave them, right? So like it could be something really creative and interesting. All right, I'm going to be right back. I'm going to run this Twitch ad, then I'm going to come back and then we're going to do the outro for everybody. Okay? So I'll be right back. I'm back. You can also spend XP immediately to negate the DM intrusion. Ooh! So the player always has a hand in it. So whenever you do an intrusion, the player can just say no and say, I do not want that thing to happen. Okay. Well, the resource and a counter spell. Oh, cool. What do you want to share, Violet? Go for it. Let's share it. Let's hear it. I realize the two characters have pretty much the same journey of growth. Nice. They start at a similar point, but their journeys diverge, and because one character can accept their home as evil while the other cannot. Ooh, very interesting development. Cypher is all about player empowerment through resources. As long as you have the resources, you can always do the thing. Running out of resources, though, is very bad. Ooh. They mirror each other in a really cool way that I didn't intend and explore the ways that realization can go. Yeah, that's really cool. That's really awesome. Yeah, they're foils of each other. They start at the same place, but they go two different ways, and they're like opposite. They're like mirror images. That's really cool. That's really cool. Yes, Nabaru, accepting your evil. Mm-hmm. All right. Well, it is after midnight. I have been hungry. I just had a hunger attack, like a burst of hunger that came partway through that stream, and I powered through it, so I'm proud of me for making it through that stream and getting this chapter written. I'm proud of me. What are you down to trade for victory? Yes. Let's wind down for the night. For those of you who don't know, I like to speak positivity and say positive affirmations to and about my viewers at the end of the night. Let me scroll up and see all the people we had come through. I think it was mostly a lot of the same old crew. We had, let me get to the top of chat. We had Okusen was here. Okusen was here at the beginning. That was nice. We don't see Okusen very much. Silva, Noel Main, Nabiru, LeMay, Violet, Then I know we had Jesus. Who else did we have? Do we have anybody else come through? I think that was everybody. So I say to all of you who I've named, and to anyone who watched the stream and didn't say anything in chat, and to anyone who watches this VOD afterwards, I say to all of you, I love all of you. And I believe in each and every one of you. I think that you all are truly precious, unique, and one-of-a-kind individuals. And I value each of you. I think that you all make this world a better place by living in it in your own unique way. I believe that you are valuable, important, worthy of notice, Your hopes, dreams, and fears and concerns are valid and important. You matter. And you are worthy of love, and you are deserving of happiness and good things. I'm grateful that you give me your time, your energy, and your attention. I'm grateful to have each and every one of you here. Thank you for coming to my stream. If you're watching on YouTube, then you can subscribe and ding the notification bell to let you know whenever I go live. If you're watching on Twitch, you can follow, and that'll let you know when I go live there. Always remember the Star Hunter motto. Shoot for the stars, have wonderful adventures, live your dreams, and always stop to enjoy the memes. One thing I ask is if you have any friends or neighbors or aunts or uncles, arch nemesis, foils, or rivals, anyone you think might enjoy my content, feel free to show them my content and invite them to the next stream. Next stream is going to be Monday, 8:30 p.m. EST. I look forward to seeing each and every one of you there. Yeah, it's been great having you, Violet. It's been great having all of you here. Hey, nice. It's always great to have an expert on hand, Jesus. If you want to follow me on social media, there are links to those in the description below. And on YouTube and on Twitch, there are, links, but I don't like how the link stuff works on the about page on Twitch. You have to like copy and paste it. It doesn't like hyperlink on the panels, which is really frustrating. But yeah, there's links to all the stuff there. Have yourselves a wonderful night. And also, you do not have to donate to be here. You don't have to give money to be a member of this community. I value each and every one of you, and I'm grateful to all of you for being here. With that said, I do appreciate everyone who has donated in the past and who will donate in the future to help make things possible for me. Depending on how things go this month, I may need to actually start upping the monetization of the stream and start like looking for actual making money doing this. And we'll cross that bridge when we get to it as to what I could do, what I can offer, and what my options are moving forward. But I will see what happens there. Yeah, time to shill raid Shadow Legends. We'll see what happens. But if you ever feel motivated to donate to improve the stream, to improve my life, to help me out with any number of things, there are links where you can do so in the description down below and on the donate button on the about page on Twitch. On YouTube, there's a link to a PayPal where you can give direct donations and a Ko-fi where you can do either direct donations or repeated monthly donations. If you're doing direct donations, I prefer you do PayPal or do a Final Fantasy 14 copy pasta. Oh goodness, Nabiru. If you're doing direct donations, I prefer you do PayPal because I get more of the money. And I don't have any reward set up for the monthly subscriber, the monthly Ko-fi support. It's mostly just people letting me know that they really support me and want to help me out. I appreciate all the people who do that and help make things possible in my life. On Twitch, there's just the donate button that takes you to Ko-fi where you can do either one-time donation or repeated monthly sign-up donation stuff. If you have a Prime you want to throw my way, feel free for the Prime subs. But have yourself a wonderful night. Let me see, do we have people to raid with on Twitch? We have one person. Let me see. Who is on? Who is online? Is there anyone online I want to raid? Sweets is online. Roomba's online. I haven't raided Roomba in a hot minute. Let me see how long Roomba's been going. Roomba's doing Metal Gear. Roomba just started. Okay. All right. We're going to raid Roomba. Roomba is they, them, a very skilled and entertaining VTuber who is... now, Roomba does make adult jokes, so be warned, and Roomba's stuff is also 18 plus, so if you're not over 18, don't ride the Twitch wave. Let me... boop. Boop. All right. Good night, everybody.